Well, welcome to another installment, YouTube, of Vince from Eagle Auto Repair. We're here today with this 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We have a water leak, and this car has a sunroof, moonroof, factory option, and we've got water whenever it rains. We have water coming in, and what we're finding is right here in the headliner area, the water kind of gets into the gutter that's designed from the factory to channel the water away. And we're finding it to be in the headliner and leaking on the dash and the floorboard, and it makes quite a mess. So we're going to get inside this today and see if we can't figure this out. There are some drain tubes incorporated in this gutter that run down through the A-pillar and into the frame, and the water should exit at the bottom. A lot of times what happens is, because the heat from the sun comes through the windshield, it basically bakes those plastic tubes. Those original tubes are plastic, and so as they harden from the sun beating down on them, the intense heat, what ends up happening is they get dry rot, they crack, they break, and consequently we get leaks in that area. So we're going to go in there, we're going to pull the headliner down, pull the pillars off, get a look-see from inside what it looks like, and we're going to most likely going to be replacing those tubes, those drain tubes, so we can correct this water leak. Water leaks, wind leaks, always tough. This particular car, this Jeep, goes on. Same thing with Grand Cherokee. I think Compass has the same situation whenever they have the factory sunroof, which is a kind of a cool option, but you know, whenever you put a hole in your roof, you're going to have problems. So this is a factory situation. There is some adjustments for this. I've been kind of playing around with the adjustments for the roof too, because the actual moon roof, it doesn't want to sometimes sit completely. This one has a vent option as well as full open, and it'll go through a cycle. And a lot of times what happens is when you go to close it, it's not parking in the correct position, so you get a little bit of a additional issue with water leaking in. So we can kind of manipulate it and play with it and get it to the point we want it. But even at that, there's still going to be a small amount of water coming in whenever it's raining on this moonroof, sunroof. And then the gutter captures it, and again, we're getting a trouble down into this area here in that A-pillar from those tubes being cracked and dry rotted. So we're gonna take this apart, get you in here close, and see what we can do to correct this problem. All right, so we're inside the car now, and we're going to have to take this pillar off. We've got this little key tab that comes out here. We got a 10 millimeter, a couple 10 millimeters that'll come off. We have to take the visor off, this center console feature, and then we should be able to pull the headliner down and expose those gutters that drain here for the moonroof. So let's get to it. I've got the one 10 millimeter bolt out already, and we're going to go after this other one here. Just take a little tiny screwdriver or pick tool to try to open that up, and I can see there's still even some water in here from the leak. You can kind of see, and you can see where the tubes broke, because as I blew the compressed air, and we got a bunch of dirt and mud coming out of that tube, so I know that tube's broke because the water's just kind of running into there. So we're going to get this A-pillar off of here, and that'll hopefully expose some of it for us. Get this loose. Okay, just about run that bolt out of there. Extremely long bolt, and most importantly, probably because of the grab handle, obviously you don't want to have your customer pull up in there and fall out of there. So you can see the water actually running out of this trim panel. We're going to set that back there. But right here, down in this area, is where that tube is. And as we take the rest of this apart, we'll be exposing that. So we have to take the visor off. So we're going to pull down this screw right here. That one comes out. get a couple of 8mm. Take that visor down. Okay, got that down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this loose. I got the vanity mirror lighting, so I have to see if we can get that connector out of there so we can disconnect this. And they don't give you a ton of room, but there's a little bit there. There, we're disconnected, lights off. Get the visor down, and then as we start to get in here, we'll take this part out, and they just use some clips on here. I don't think there's a screw there. Have to get a trim stick, take that down. So you can kind of see that visor, how that comes out of there. It's a bit of a look in here at that visor. The visor's down, we have to take this side down, and we've got that center console. We have just these clips that hold it in there. So once you unsnap it, that comes off. And now we're going to work on this side as well as this A pillar over here. And we have to take our other visor down, and then we should be able to drop that headliner down just enough to cheat in there and look at the tubes that I was explaining. So we have the headliner kind of dropped down. I have a light there. I'm kind of hoping you can see in there where that plastic tube hooks right onto that gutter. Right. Let's see if I can get my hand in there. Right here. The plastic tube, you can see it coming across right here, and then it hooks right into that gutter right there, and it just kind of runs across and back down into the car. And as it comes around, you kind of see it right in the pillar there, the black plastic tube right down through here, and then it runs down behind the dash and out through the floor. And so you can see we had some of the water on the dash right here. So I'm going to have to water test this tube and see how that water is getting in there, and back it up. Maybe this tube is broken. I blew some air through there just to make sure it's blowing out real good. But we're going to have to water test it and see what happens. As I pour that water through there, I should be able to see that. I'm going to pour some down in there. Again, I've blown it out pretty good. So I'm pouring the water through. And I'm seeing it run out. I'm not seeing really any indication of water there. We're going to try it again though, just to make sure, because I really don't want to put this all back together only to find out that we still got water coming in. So let's just see, dry that up a little bit from where we pulled that pillar off. And let me get a little bit more water. I'm going to go up top here, and you can see right here is where we're pouring it into that hole, and down into the channel. Pour some in just to simulate what the water would be like coming in the rain. That's a pretty good bunch right there. And I can hear it running out on the floor really well. And we're kind of checking that tube, and it looks pretty good. That seems to be pretty dry. So I'm just thinking that potentially what we might have had was, you know, that tube plugged up enough so that that gutter could back up, and then the water could run over the gutter and into the headliner area right here, because here's where it was wet, and then down into that A pillar. So we're going to go over to the other side. We're going to take that gutter off as well and force the compressed air through there just to make sure that one's nice and clear, and then we could probably safely reassemble it. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, so we have that tube. Here's that tube that hooks up to that gutter channel, and we got the compressed air. We're just going to take and put the rubber tip there and just kind of make sure there is no restriction through that. We'll blow a little air in there, and then we're going to go ahead and hook it back up. We got to sneak our hand up in there, right there, and it just kind of fits over that nice and snug. And we can go ahead and reassemble now and give it a test. So I'm fairly certain we've got it cleared out. We want to just get it back together and then get the hose on it, retest it, and make sure that those gutters are draining and there's nothing coming into our A-pillar or any of the area that ends up basically on the floor. And sometimes the tube down on the bottom where it goes out through the floor can plug up, and then you've got the water coming back in on the carpet. So, but generally you're going to find it rainstorm, as the snow melts, however you got water up there. That sunroof is designed to take in some water. It's got that nice gutter around it. I'll get a better picture of that for you so you can see what it looks like with the moonroof back, sunroof open. And so yeah, we have to clear those gutters out and make sure that that hose, obviously, as I said, that plastic hose, you can see there's not a whole lot to it. And from the sun beating down on it, quite often this tubing cracks, and as it deteriorates, the water will just come into the headliner and end up on the floor. So, all right, let's put it back together and see what we got. All right, so we have the trim back on, the headliner's up, the visors are on. We're going to get the moonroof, sunroof closed, and next test we're going to be doing is taking it outside and water testing it. We're going to try to simulate some rain, get the hose and just kind of spray it down, and hopefully our gutters are working and everything's good. We should be good with what we checked when we had it apart. These particular vehicles, like I said, a lot of times the sun can cause the wear. In this case, I think it was just plug. There was a lot of debris, but I actually had to take and, you know, I tried originally blowing the air through the top with it open like it is now, just by basically, you know, going up here and kind of blowing down through the hole. And I think I probably got most of it, but it was still under the water test leaking just a little bit. And so, which led me to believe that potentially those tubes were cracked. So I was happy to see when I took it apart that they weren't. But that can happen because, as I said, there's a lot of heat generated by the windshield. That's just plastic tubing, and it can dry out. It's got a rubber connection right at the gutter, as I showed you in the video when we blew the air through on this side. But it's pouring out of there pretty good. It was kind of trickling out a little bit, and I thought maybe I had it. But as I blew the compressed air through there, when I pour the water in there now, it comes out at a pretty good rate. Just as fast as I'm pouring it in, I'm seeing it come out the bottom drain. So pretty confident that we've got it, but we're going to put it back together, get the moonroof, sunroof down in position, and then take it outside, put it under the hose, give it a water test, and we'll see. We'll keep our fingers and our legs crossed. Hopefully we got it. All right, so we've got the gutter system worked out. We've adjusted the moonroof, the glass is in place, and hopefully we're going to be able to take a water test and have it not leak on us. So I've got it set up here. The hose is ready to go, and we're just going to give it a little bit of rain and see what happens. And get it nice and wet, kind of simulate the rainstorm. And let's see here. Where do we see the water flowing out? I can see the water flowing out at the bottom gutter there. Kind of move around here. It's flowing out pretty good on this side. This was the side that was originally leaking, this side here, the driver's side. I think I had, last time after the water test, I think I had corrected that. But I did have some on this side still. We'll give it a good hard rain here. And I can hear the water running out of the gutters pretty good. Especially on this side, it's running out pretty hard down here. I want to give it just a little bit more, just to see, make sure that we got this one taken care of. All right. So hopefully that'll do it. We'll go ahead and go inside. We'll get the camera going inside and see what we see. So right here we're nice and dry. Don't see any water there. I'm looking up here where this was wet before. Remember, it was leaking on the dashboard. It's nice and dry here. And that was a pretty good hosing I gave it. So I'm gonna have to give that A++. I'd say we're good to go. So again, here we had a water leak situation where in a lot of cases what happens is the gutters that run along the A-pillar, they crack and break, or they get plugged up and you get restriction, and then the water can't move out of there and it goes down into the headliner, ends up on the floor and on your dash. So we seem to have corrected that. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm sure the customer will be too. And we're going to put the wrap on this. Check out our other videos. If there's anything that I can help you with, I'll have my email address. I'll put my email address in the video so you can hit me up with questions, comments. Hit me in the comments section. Be real happy if you subscribe. Hopefully there'll be some information I can share with you. If there's something you'd like to see, let me know. I love doing the videos, and hopefully our content's getting better. So hit the subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell, and we'll see you again. And as I always say here at Eagle Auto Repair, have a blessed day.